Welcome back to the channel. This is Trendy Storm and you are watching third and final part of What If Kid Naruto goes to another world and creates his own harem. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel, and for more exclusive and spicy content, follow me on Patreon. Link is in the description below. And now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Bawa. Mao. I couldn't believe how good the soda tasted, Celine remarked. No, Celine. Rito shouted. We sincerely apologize. I'll cover the cost. They apologized for the inconvenience as they made their way back to the park after Haruna yelled and took out 300 yen. Rito then texted Naruko to let her know they had located her and were headed back. I apologize, Sirenji. I'll reimburse you for that, Rito informed her. No, it's okay, it was only a Coke. As Celine was downing the Coke, Haruna retorted, I suppose she and Shirobara can eat and drink anything. Yes, she eats on Deviluk, and even Lala gave her some food even though it would be her first time drinking soda, and... Hick. Rito and Haruna turned to face Celine, and they all stopped. Celine! Yelled Rito. Hick. Celine hiccuped once more, stumbling about as if under the influence of alcohol. Mao hick. Rito questioned, is she drunk? Haruna inquired, from drinking a soda? Hick maauuu, Celine exclaimed, tossing the empty bottle aside and sprinting as quickly as her petite frame would allow. Celine! Exclaimed Rito when Celine yelled, Mao! In a drunken rage, she leapt to her feet and grabbed onto what she thought was her mother Naruko's arm. Rito called out again, Celine! As she noticed that she had taken a shine to sake, she went swimsuit shopping with Rin and Aya, relieved to have found someone from home. Rito exclaimed, Tenjuan senpai? Mao Mao! Celine exclaimed joyfully, believing Sake to be Naruko. Sake glanced at Celine and said, Rito? I thought you were at the park with Naruko? Huh? Celine screamed, Mao, as her flower closed and sprayed Sake, Rin, and Aya with pollen. Rito exclaimed, Senpai! Is that pollen, Mao? Celine released her grip and fled once more. Rito yelled, Celine, come back, as Haruna prepared to pursue, but... They heard Sake calling, Rito, and realized there was a problem with her. Sake exclaimed, I love you, as she leapt over Rito. Ah! T Tenjuan senpai! Rito exclaimed, feeling hot and bothered as she lay on top of him. Sake yelled, Rito, as Rito saw the flower that had grown on her head and appeared to have lips on it. Sake then raised her shirt so that her white lace bra was visible. She then moaned a little as Rito moved his hand to grope in her left boob as Haruna plucked up the courage to remove Sake from him. Rito was in a daze, unable to comprehend what was happening. She yelled, Senpai! Get a hold of yourself, while removing her. When Rito saw that Aya and Rin were also wearing flowers on their heads, he remarked, I was just saved. With love in her voice, Aya called out, Yuki Rito. Rin blushed slightly upon realizing she had also been infected. As Sake, Rin, and Aya pursued him and Haruna as they fled for their lives, Rito exclaimed, oh! That is, for Rito, who exclaimed, what is going on here? While Celine ran around town, spraying everyone with pollen. She shouted, Mao, Mao! As she released her pollen after losing their seniors, Rito and Haruna now realized that everyone in the neighborhood is pursuing them. Rito shouted, why is this happening? As they ran once more before hiding around a corner, Haruna blushed as Rito actually held her close. Don't tell me it's because of Celine's pollen? Before they heard a loud, manly yell, Haruna said, if it is, then we should find her before she infects any more people. Yuki-kun. They looked up and said, huh? A drunken Celine yelled, Mao, while standing on the back of the principal, who was only dressed in boxer briefs. Hold me, he cried out, collapsing onto Rito. You ga! Rito exclaimed, observing that the principal was perspiring due to his changed sexual cravings for Rito instead of women. Haruna saw that the principal had a bulge in the lower part of his body and that he was breathing heavily. Yuki-kun! Exclaimed Haruna as she attempted to pull the principal away from him, but he was too strong and heavy for her. Celine continued to laugh while appearing inebriated, and Rito attempted to push the principal away from him after noticing that he was attempting to kiss him before someone struck the principal in the back of the head. Rito believed he was done. Rito turned to see Naruko holding Shirobara while Yui and Naruto stood behind her. As the unconscious principal was rolled over, Naruko screamed, Rito-kun is not for you to take. They all departed and went to the Yuki residence. Then the flowers dropped from everyone's heads just now. Sake, Rin, and Aya were wondering what in the world they were doing in the middle of the park when a policeman passed by and arrested him for indecent exposure. The principal realized what he was doing in the middle of the road when they got home. They all told everyone what had happened while Momo came up with a theory. I see. It seems when intoxicated by the soda, Celine emits a special pollen where those who inhale it fall in love with Rito-san for a little while, Momo speculated. Lala questioned, why is it just Rito? As Nana passed by, seemingly just waking up from a nap, Momo responded to her sister, it might be due to the amount of love Celine herself has for Rito-san. Her pollen must transmit it to the victim so anyone can fall in love with Rito-san regardless of their actual feelings for him. Rito questioned, what kind of power is that supposed to be? As she watched Celine and Shirobara eat their bowls of ramen, Yui thought, it's so shameless. Celine joyfully exclaimed, Mao. Without really remembering what had transpired before, she only experienced a slight headache, which subsided after eating ramen. Could Shirobara shoot a similar kind of pollen if intoxicated? Yui inquired to Momo. Shirobara looked up upon hearing his name, and Naruto patted his head to allow him to continue eating his ramen. Momo responded, I don't think we need to worry since given how he was born originally. I don't think Naruto could have copied Celine's abilities like that. They all sighed in relief. Momo had a dark aura and a devilish expression on her face while everyone else was turning away. She muttered to herself, foo, looks like I may have some fun testing that theory. As Sake returned, the day passed. It was decided that it would be preferable if Sake, Rin, and Aya forgot that the pollen had struck them when putting sodas in the refrigerator. Everyone took care to keep them out of reach. Shirobara and Celine were bathing with Naruto. As Celine and Shirobara jumped on her and attempted to drink milk once more, she told them, now play nice. Ah, groaned Naruto. She groaned as they attacked her breasts for milk, saying, Mama still can't make milk come out yet. I can change that, Lala exclaimed as she entered the room. She exclaimed, behold, Booby Milky-kun. The gadget resembled a cow doll and had 2 wires and patches that would cover her nipples and areola. This will stimulate your boobs and have you milk, Lala clarified while Milky-kun was being put on. Naruto set them down. Now, start up, Lala exclaimed. Pressing the button on Milky-kun's head, it moaned as it started to arouse Naruto's breasts, but Naruto moaned sexually because it felt good. She groaned, ah, ha, Lala, I feel strange. Lala said, maybe I need to set the frequency a little higher. As she increased the frequency, Naruto began to moan more loudly, felt her womanhood getting hot and wet, and seemed to be receiving a shock. Ha! Ah! When Lala tried to turn it off, Celine and Shirobara jumped her, thinking she had milk in her breasts. Oh, no, I think it's malfunctioning. Gah! No, I'm not a mama and I don't have any milk. She was grumbling to remove them and Milky-kun from Naruto. Hinata and Hanabi were required. Even though things were difficult there, they were still fascinating. Naruto was yawning in the middle of the park early in the morning after Lala woke him up early and asked for his assistance. She has a new machine that she built herself, Alter Adjust Animal-kun. In essence, this machine has the ability to transform anyone who enters it into an animal. Naruto was dressed in gray cargo shorts, summer sandals, an orange vest with a hoodie, and a blue shirt. Lala was dressed in summer sandals, a white summer coat, and a pink dress. Lala shouted, all set, as she assembled the pod-looking machine. Naruto questioned, so, why exactly am I here? As Naruto deduced that Lala intended to try it on herself, she responded, well, I can't run the machine and perform it on me at the same time. Then he considered Lala's history with inventions, which had never been favorable, particularly when they are always breaking down. He would later regret saying this, but Naruto said, you know what, why don't I test it for you? Lala gave him a look. She leaned in to meet his eyes and said, you sure? In a nervous attempt to win her approval, Naruto answered, yeah, I love to help you. Okay, she said without even asking him a question. Now step inside the machine, she exclaimed, shoving him inside before shutting it. As Lala turned on the machine, he asked himself, why'd I always sucker myself into these things? Lala shouted, okay, time for the big change. As she engaged her invention by pressing a switch, Naruto was beginning to reconsider this when the door closed on him. And start up, Lala exclaimed as the machine made noise while operating, and Naruto yelled softly as he was changing. Naruto's clothes were all over the floor when the door opened. After about a minute, a yellow-furred kitten emerged from beneath those garments and meowed at Lala. Meow? Lala? The cat was unquestionably Naruto. It worked, but I could have sworn I had it set to dog, Lala grumbled. Oh well, we'll just have to wait till you change back. It's difficult to predict when it will wear off, so Naruto meowed it while thinking, wait till I change back. Then Naruto saw a dog snarling at him. He wouldn't have an issue normally, but his instincts as a cat told him to flee as the dog pursued and knocked Lala down, Naruto fled. Lala shouted, "Hey, hey! Naruto! Come back!" Running. Naruto hit up a tree. Naruto let out a sigh of relief. He didn't know how he was going to get down. "Oh man, a little help here please." Naruto meowed as loudly as he could, shouting under his breath. "Huh? Hey, are you okay?" Naruto asked, turning to face Kodagawa Yui in the hopes that the mystery cat would come down. She said in a calming voice, "Oh, hey, are you stuck up there? It's okay, come on, I'll catch you." When Naruto approached her, he unintentionally landed in her bosom. Her breasts were so soft and squishy that Naruto exclaimed, "Meow? That was close, him. Never seen a cat as yellow as you before, and you got a face that looks someone I know, especially with the whiskers." She pointed them out. Naruto yelled, "Meow," to attract her attention. Yui said, "But you're so soft and cute." Naruto was taken aback by her behavior. She's usually very sunere or strict, but at the moment she was acting really cute. Naruto had to admit he did like the way she was petting him, that he actually purred. "No collar, guess that means you're a stray," Yui said. Glancing around as though contemplating something, she took him to the veterinarian first. "Whoa, I should have known I'd wind up here. How on earth will I escape this place?" As he sat in Yui's lap and surveyed his surroundings, Naruto asked himself. "Kodagawa." She was called out by the doctor. "Yes." With Naruto in her arms, Yui stood up and answered. The doctor examined Naruto and discovered that the cat was in perfect health, so unlike a transformation jutsu, Lala's invention at least fully explained his change. Damn it, Naruto thought to himself. Well, normally strays have a lot to worry about, but I guess this lil guy got a lucky break, the physician advised Yui. She expressed relief and said, "Oh, that's good." Having said that, the doctor said, "I'll go ahead and take care of his vaccinations." Meow. Naruto wondered what he meant as soon saw the vet pulling out needles for shots. Meow. Naruto let out a loud cry of terror, primarily because he was afraid of needles. Now remain motionless. Ow. I got scratched by that little bastard. No pet has ever left with its shots on my watch. The doctor shouted as Naruto bolted. "Attention, staff members." The doctor was freaking Yui out when everything went into emergency lockdown and the vets went all military. "Men, we have an escapee. We have code 0901 Delta. A yellow cat with large blue eyes. He is impossible to miss. On-site injection is required. Are we clear?" "Yes, sir." It felt like a game of Metal Gear Solid as Naruto had to use his ninja skills in cat form and slowly moved into a dark room. One of the vets flashed the light on Naruto's box and even gave the exclamation mark warning. They moved the box up, but no one was there, so Naruto used his claws to cling to it before falling to the ground as the vets fired at him. Naruto meowed loudly as he got away after scratching one of the vets who liked a parody of Snake himself. "He seems to have me." The parody Snake veterinarian said. "You tell them my story, kid," as he passed out in an overly dramatic manner. "A snake? Snake? Saki?" As Naruto ran for the door and Yui picked him up to exit, the other vet yelled. As she fled the crazy people in that veterinary building, she told herself, "Okay, next time we'll get to the family doctor." She ran all the way home, perspiring as she caught her breath, and Naruto was unable to speak at the moment because he could see through her breasts and felt them pushing against him. "Hello, Yui." When Yui and Naruto looked up, they saw a young man in his 20s approaching them. "Welcome back, Oni-sama." Yui answered back. Is this man her brother? In her mind, Naruto uttered those words. "Are you in trouble with that guy again?" Her brother laughed and teased her. "No, I haven't seen him all day." In fact, Yui pointed to the cat and said, "I was actually busy trying to help this little guy here." Meow. Do cats have this type of fur? "Alright," he said, "I'm going." As he passed Yui and shut the door, he remarked, "I have another date today." To herself, Yui remarked, "To be honest, Oni-san can be really stupid at times." Meow? Naruto let out a meow. Yui said to the cat, "Well, let's get ourselves cleaned up." Meow. As they entered her bathroom, which included a shower and other amenities, Naruto meowed in disbelief at what he saw. Kodagawa Yui was standing in front of him completely nude, and he noticed her amazing breasts because he was on the ground. He also noticed her womanhood, which made Naruto feel extremely uneasy. Yui appeared extremely feminine, as best he could describe it, as she sprayed water on herself from the shower head. "All right." As she picked him up, Yui said, "It's time to wash you up." Meow? Oh god, she feels so nice, so warm. I can't believe she feels this nice and smells so good. Naruto meowed as she started to wash him with the water and soap. He couldn't control his lustful impulses because he felt weird. "Hello, may I share a secret with you?" Yui informed him. Meow? Naruto gave her a look. This guy attends my school. He resembles you in certain ways. I thought he was going to cause a lot of trouble when I first saw him. Naruto listened, shocked by what he was hearing. I felt really shameless about it, but then I realized maybe it's okay to fall for someone, he said. In a way, he did cause trouble for the school and he gives me such a headache, but he helped me out when I needed it. Before I knew it, I found myself falling for him. As she washed him down, Naruto blushed and couldn't believe he had heard something so personal. I think the reason I found boys shameless was because they always cause trouble for girls, but I realize maybe it's okay to be a shameless from time to time, she said, making Naruto feel hotter now and a little uncomfortable. The sudden regrowth of his body pushed Yui into the wall and knocked her out. Naruto checked on her and said, "What's happening?" "I feel," as he released smoke and his transformation reversed, returning him to his human form. "Oh good. She's simply unconscious." Naruto became aware that both she and he were completely nude. If someone happened to walk in on her, this would look awful. In order to get home, he jumped up her window, sat her up, and clung to the sign and roofs. When he entered the house, Hanabi, Mikan, and Sake were the first three people to notice him. As she ran up the stairs, he told them, "Don't ask." The three of us were taken aback. Sake followed Naruto-sama and exclaimed, "Wow, Naruto-sama is quite energetic." As she tried to comprehend that she had seen Naruto's manhood, Hanabi uttered, "Mikan, I think I saw something dangling." Neither of them could believe something large was between Naruto's legs, so Mikan said, "Just don't think about it." Naruto managed to get to the restroom that he and the other house guests occasionally use. Naruto decided to stroke himself because he couldn't stop thinking about Yui. "Oh god, I can't believe I heard her say that. God, I'm really hard right now. Ah." Naruto groaned as he considered Yui's nude body and how it felt as he pictured himself doing her. He imagined her groaning as he continued to stroke more quickly. Her breasts bounced with each imagined thrust. "Naruto-sama!" Sake exclaimed as she opened the bathroom door and saw Naruto stroking himself because he was speechless at being discovered. As she pulled him into her room and placed him on her bed, she said, "Oh my Naruto-sama, if you needed relief you should have just said so." Then Naruto saw that Rin and Aya were wearing underwear. Naruto's question was, "What's going on?" "Well, I noticed Rin was acting strange, and from the goodness of my heart and to keep my friendship with her and Aya, I decided to share you Naruto-sama since they have shared with me their interest in you," Sake told him while acting generously. Naruto was about to ask, but, as she undid her bra, Aya said, "It's okay, we agreed to this." Rin blushed a little and said, I agreed. You've shown to be strong and I can be okay with you if you're okay with me." Then the girls fully undressed, pushing Naruto back. Rin kissed Naruto first, then Aya took her turn kissing him, their tongues exploring each other. Then Sake began to lick his manhood. Rin was amazed that she was seeing a blowjob up close. As Aya and Rin alternated licking Naruto with Sake, Sake instructed them to, "Just follow my lead, girls." As Sake demonstrated how far they could put Naruto in their mouths, Naruto groaned, "Oh god." Sake stopped. Sake told her, "Just like that, go ahead, Rin." As Rin attempted to blow Naruto away, she asked, "Like this?" Sake informed Aya that Naruto-sama also enjoys having his balls sucked on. They both put one of his balls in their mouths. Naruto groaned as he felt their warm tongues and mouths all over his balls and dick. Naruto groaned, "Crap, I'm gonna come." As Rin stepped aside and spilled his sperm all over them, it hit their hair and faces. Sake and Aya surprised Rin by licking her face until Sake made out with her. Rin groaned in surprise. With all of this, Naruto was becoming aroused. "Rin, I'll let you go first, though watching and waiting my turn is going to be difficult," Sake stated to her. Then Naruto got an idea. Naruto made hand signals and said, "I knew this jutsu was gonna come in handy." As he created 14 clones, Naruto exclaimed, "Multi-shadow clone jutsu," and provided the girls with 5 Narutos to care for them. While the others attended to Sake and Aya, the real Naruto pursued Rin. Naruto said to his clones, "Hey guys, careful with Aya. It's her first time." They all exclaimed, "Got it." As she prepared to ride on top of him and lower herself gradually, Naruto asked, "You ready, Rin?" As they took in the sight, 4 Naruto clones jerked toward her. She was on her hands and knees with Aya, preparing to have her first doggy style. As the clones carried her, Sake was about to experience her first double penetration. The clones all moved simultaneously and pushed into the girls. The clones nearby jerked off to Rin as she bounced up and down Naruto, especially when they saw her breasts. As the clones attacked her breasts, one of them exclaimed, "I can't hold back anymore." 2 of them sat down and sucked on a boob. As she grew closer to Naruto, Rin groaned, "Ah, no, I feel strange." The clones grabbed her hands and made stroking motions while sucking on her breasts to get Rin to suck him off. Another clone stood over the real Naruto in order to get Rin ready for anal intercourse. The 4HT clone worked its way to finger her butthole. Oh god, she feels amazing. The clones exclaimed to each other. Aya and her Naruto clones. She continued to take it doggy style from the 5th clone while stroking 2 other clone Narutos and licking the tips of 2 of them. It's interesting to note that, despite moaning and breathing heavily due to the rough thrusting, Aya wore her glasses the entire time. She groaned, ah, ha. More. Sake was on top of a clone on the floor, allowing her to give one of the clones her head, making her double penetration triple penetration. While the clones thrust into her, she maintained a firm hold on 2 more and stroked them at a timely pace. As they became rougher and faster, Sake had a truly sex-crazed expression in her eyes. When the 4th clone eventually got inside Rin's butthole and gave her a double penetration experience, Rin groaned louder. The clones with Aya come as a result of all of this, while the other 4 sprayed Aya with a bukkake spray of sperm. One released inside her. She was mostly covered in Naruto's seed because it was so much since they had never been used in this manner before. The clones then scattered. Naruto had to ejaculate more than usual into Rin as a result of all that sexual experience. Ah! Rin truly experienced an orgasm as Naruto filled her to the brim. Rin confessed. So hot inside. To continue on her, the clones pulled her up. Rin was still receiving anal while seated in reverse. Aya was placed in a scissored position by Naruto, who then began thrusting. Ah! Naruto. Oh god. Aya drooled on the bed linens and groaned. The clone let go of everything they had when Rin reached her breaking point once more. Rin groaned in her head, gonna come. As the clone emerged from her mouth and sprayed her face, she was covered by every clone that was released as Naruto sensed that it was happening again with Aya. The clones scattered. He let out a large wave of sperm from the clones' intercourse. Naruto and Aya both let out loud moans, ah, as they orgasmed and felt like they were about to explode from the amount of energy pouring into them. After that, Naruto approached Sake and made the clone in her pussy move aside. Sake yelled, Naruto-sama, as Naruto assumed control, freeing her to give birth to another clone. This one tasted like her and Naruto combined. Naruto groaned, this is so amazing. After the clones' experiences had a significant playthrough. With all of these Narutos, Sake groaned as loudly as she could, MMMMPPPPHHH, MMMPPPPHHH, MMMPPPHH. Aya and Rin were unable to move because they had essentially passed out. Naruto and all the clones let go of everything as a result. The clones scattered, forcing Naruto to double-shot Sake. Sake exclaimed, ah, as she felt so much sperm enter her body that it appeared as though her stomach had a small lump. In addition, Naruto had been striking her G-spot, which, when combined with an orgasm, made her urinate. Ha-amashing Naruto shama I wove you. Sake stumbled and collapsed on Naruto before fainting relieved. Naruto exhaled deeply. Naturally, he now needs to consider his options regarding Yui. He got up and put the girls to bed after he had recovered his strength. After shutting their door, he showered for a long time and eventually changed into some clothes. Naruto. Lala called out to Naruto. Naruto said, hey, what's up? Lala showed him the lost poster that depicted him as a cat and said, oh, good, you're okay. I was getting worried when I saw Yui-chan post these. Oh great. Naruto had to give it some thought. Lala, can I ask you a favor? Asked Naruto. She said, sure. Yui had finally produced enough copies of the Lost Kitten posters to distribute and post by the next morning. She gave Lala a copy because they had just happened to cross paths yesterday afternoon. She heard a recognizable meowing sound before she could even post one. Meow. Yui turned to see that a certain blonde was carrying him, but it was actually him. Naruto made a pathetic attempt at ventriloquy by trying to make his voice sound cute. Excuse me. Nya, are you perhaps looking for me? Nya? Yui appeared taken aback. How do you even? The answer from Naruto was, Lala brought it up. It seems that he wanted to look into getting a cat that resembled Naruto in cat form. Regretfully, that was nearly impossible, but fortunately, Lala was the greatest genius the universe had to offer. With the help of her all-purpose tool, her knowledge of cloning, and the data from the Change Animal Kun, she was able to create a clone cat of Naruto that had the same lifespan as a normal cat because Lala made sure it died too soon. The only memories this cat clone has are of being a cat and how it bonded with Yui. Naruto decided to give Yui a break and do something else because he felt bad about making her worry about a cat in this way. As Naruto handed her the cat and took her flyers, Yui questioned, where did you even find him? Despite her best efforts to hide from him, Naruto could see that she was now content. In the hopes that it would be sufficient to keep her from asking too many questions, Naruto responded, Well, I was out and about and just happened to notice him running, then Lala mentioned you'd be posting flyers today, and well, here I am is basically it. She smiled and said, well, whatever the case, thank you so much. Naruto said, you really like cats, huh? Yui retorted, got a problem with that? No, Naruto shot back. Naruto scratched his left cheek, blushing, say if you're not too busy. Do you want to hang out for a bit, maybe help this little guy get settled with you? Meow. Yui was taken aback when the cat meowed. Yui pondered, is he asking me out? Yui told him to keep her emotions to herself, saying, SS sure BB, but it's only for him, okay. Naruto accepted it and said, okay then. As they began to walk together, although she wasn't emotionally prepared to tell him everything, Yui was still happy and let out a sigh of relief. Naruto inquired, so, what are you gonna call him? After giving Naruto a brief glance, she grinned and said, he's pretty unique with his fur, he could almost look like a lion, I think I'll call you. Meow. Naruto questioned, Azuki? As in the yellow spiral? Kind of a weird name? Meow. After hearing it meow to the name, Naruto continued, but he seems to like it. It was a unique day. Yuki Mikan was the one who had reached a significant milestone in their life today. Her 13th birthday is today. They all decided to take her to a karaoke bar to celebrate and sing their hearts out because they had everything planned for her. Mikado was aware of a location where they could be as noisy as they wanted and had plenty of room. Everyone in the Yuki household was attending, including Mikado, Yui, Haruna, Riza, who only went because she loved parties and had nothing better to do. Ren, who won't be included because Run avoids all sneezes, and Yami, who Mikan and Hanabi both enjoyed having around. Yami appeared to take pleasure in their company. Everyone arrived at Galactic Music, the location Mikado was referring to. Naruto was going to inquire as to whether it was owned by aliens. Is this place by any chance? As they all entered, Mikado said, yep, but no worries, this place caters to all the human needs and is very popular. They entered the room after paying for it. Whoa. The room's size astounded everyone. It was the same size as the living room. There's a large karaoke machine, a book with a large selection of songs, and nice, soft couches. Okay, we got all the song, snack, and booze we can drink, exclaimed Mikado. Rito said, you know everyone but you is still a minor, right, sensei? But it was ignored. Since Yami was the shortest straw, the statement, okay, let's pick the order by the drawing of the straw, shortest goes first. She was about to object, saying, it's fine, I don't need. Yami appeared ashamed as Mikan begged, please, Yami-san. I would love to hear you sing. As she ascended the stage and selected the song, Fallen Down, she responded, only because it's your special day. As Yami prepared her voice and waited for the lyrics to appear, the music began to play. When it did, everyone applauded, and Yami looked extremely embarrassed. She couldn't believe that she had sung it. Hanabi joined her in singing Heartbell with Mikan. Hanabi informed her, I've never done this before. Mikan wanted Hanabi to enjoy herself, so she reassured her, it's okay, I'm nervous too. Both of them grabbed their microphones and got ready to sing. After taking a deep breath, the two started singing the song. Following the event, the two took a bow, and Hinata was pleased to see her younger sister enjoying herself. She had previously been concerned about her making friends, but Mikan has been assisting her greatly, and they have grown close. Hanabi sighed with relief, saying, phew. Since it was her first time singing like that, she performed well in the song. As the next group went up, Mikan held her to help her relax and they both drank a soda. Riza shouted, okay girls, let's raise this party to the next level, as Momo, Mikado, and Naruko trailed behind her. Study X Study was the song they had chosen to sing. The boys found the girls' appropriate dancing motions during the verses they were singing to be quite eye-catching. Naruto took a bathroom break while the girls continued to sing their song. After a short while, Naruto emerged from the restroom just in time to hear Lala perform Mero 3 Merriman Chiku, a song she wrote on Planet Deviluk that she used to sing in karaoke competitions with her sisters. Everyone was dancing with her because the song was so lively. She truly had a voice. Thanks to Lala, it was now Hinata's turn to sing a song she wrote with Lala to better express her emotions to Naruto. At Winter's End was the title of the song. Lala then made Naruto stand in front of her while he listened intently. For a minute, there was silence as Naruto seemed to be able to hear her emotions. After spending so much time with Sake, Yui helped him to open up and comprehend. As they sat next to Lala, he took Hinata's hand and grinned to show that he understood her feelings. Nana sang Nanana Fushigi as the karaoke competition went on. When it was finally Mikan's turn again after a few more songs, she requested a duet with Naruto. Both of them searched for a song to sing and chose Silhouette by Kanabun. They began to move in time with the music. As everyone cheered Mikan and started singing her birthday song, the birthday cake eventually appeared. Mikan was ecstatic. Lala exclaimed joyfully, "Come on, blow out the candles and make a wish." After giving it some thought, Mikan looked at Naruto, who took a breath and extinguished the candles. "Okay." Everyone applauded her. Hanabi inquired, "What did you wish for?" When Mikan made the decision to say it, she blushed. "K-kiss," she interrupted. "What?" inquired Naruto. Everyone was shocked when he said, "Can I ask for a K-kiss, Naruto-san?" But Naruto thought it might be alright. Riza's expression was mischievous. "How about 13 of them? This is her birthday after all." She screamed after noticing that Celine and Shirobara were growing drowsy from all the playing. Naruto chose to take them home before the others, and Mikan appeared shocked. Rito accompanied her to assist her. Haruna accepted Naruto's invitation to accompany them. Thus, the remaining three. Fortunately, Rito would have been shocked by what was about to happen as Mikan and Naruto stood on stage. Riza pulled out her camera as Naruto leaned down and kissed her head repeatedly. Mikan braced herself. He began with her forehead, then moved on to her left cheek, then her right, and so on. As Naruto reached number 12, Mikan thought to herself, "It feels nice, but I want more." As he approached number 13, Mikan mustered the bravery to place her hands on his cheeks and draw him in for a surprise kiss on the lips. She shocked everyone by doing that. They eventually separated after 10 seconds or so. "I'm sorry." Mikan was now truly ashamed. Naruto stared at her, still taken aback, but he and everyone else moved past it. He patted her head and said, "Well, it's your birthday, so I guess it's alright." Hanabi pondered why they seemed to be so drawn to Naruto. She remained silent despite feeling that he was now taking her sister and best friend away as well. Riza shouted, "Hey, don't forget he birthday spankings," while having too much fun and gathering a lot of information. Yui yelled at Riza, "Hey, we don't need any shameless ideas from you." To everyone's surprise, Mikan leaned over and slightly raised her skirt to reveal orange underwear with black lacings. She answered, "If it's Naruto-san, then I'm okay with it." Riza showed Naruto how this worked by moving her hand in a way that he didn't understand. In response, Naruto said, Okay." Naruto raised his left hand and began the first one gently, which was sufficient to elicit a response. Mikan told him, "You can got harder if you want." Naruto yelled, "Spank number 2, and then slap." "Okay then." "Ah!" exclaimed Mikan. Everyone flinched, knowing that Naruto was undoubtedly not suppressing his power. Riza also noticed her reaction, which Hanabi saw but the others did not. Looks like someone has a fetish for being spanked and has decided on her future boyfriend, husband, and Rito's brother-in-law. Kakekekeke. She thought to herself. "It's so cute, though I guess if I play my cards right he might my brother-in-law too." She continued. He shouted, "Spank number 3, and then gave another slap. "Aw, so hard!" exclaimed Mikan. Mikan would exclaim, "Aw," or, "It hurts." As Naruto continued to announce the number, her face becomes redder and displays a slightly perverted expression with each slap. Mikan breathed heavily as it was finally over. Naruto said, "You okay?" Mikan said uneasily, "Ah, yeah. Just stings a little, that's all." After everyone had finished giving Mikan their gifts, they all left for home. Everyone enjoyed the party and had a good time. Naruto, like everyone else, was preparing to go to sleep sitting on her bed in her room. Mikan felt bothered and hot for some reason. The kiss and the spankings made her feel attracted to him, and it wasn't like she could ask him anything too obscene. She groaned softly and began massaging her womanhood. She was so engrossed in it that she didn't notice anyone entering because she assumed everyone was asleep. "Hey, Mikan." Both of them were flushed, so it was Hanabi. Hanabi blushed because of what she was staring at, while Mikan blushed because she was embarrassed to be caught. Hanabi told Mikan not to scream while covering her mouth and had shut the door in case anyone happened to walk by. Mikan was now in a fetal position due to her embarrassment. She told Hanabi, who was attempting to comfort her, "This is so embarrassing." Hanabi gave an honest response, "Come on, I'm sure it was normal, though I don't understand why him though." Mikan was still ashamed. It was obvious to Hanabi that she would remain silent until she took drastic action as she blushed. Hanabi lowered her trousers so Mikan could see her doing the same thing. "Mikan, look." Mikan was perplexed but understood what she was attempting to do. She had to acknowledge that she was still feeling tense and in need of release, and for some reason, watching Hanabi do it was a turn-on in and of itself. "Hanabi-san?" Mikan asked in an attempt to cheer up her friend. Hanabi quickly found herself masturbating in front of Mikan's bed as they rubbed their clits more quickly. They both groaned softly. "Hanabi-san." They both came and wet their fingers and underwear after saying, "Mikan." They both gasped, wanting to give it a little more as Mikan did the same to Hanabi's fingers. Hanabi began to lick and clean them. Then, as they fell back, They attempted to share a kiss. Mikan put her arms around her neck, putting Hanabi on top of her and Mikan beneath her. The girls groaned into each other's mouths while their tongues probed one another. I can't believe I'm doing this. Mikan thought to herself, we should stop, since she was thinking the same thing. As they began taking off their clothes, they both mentally acknowledged, but it feels so good. Mikan touched Hanabi's breasts after noticing that she was growing a little faster than her. Mikan licked the nipple and began sucking on them, saying, ah. Mikan's hair was undone by Hanabi to allow it to fall naturally. Mikan continued to touch Hanabi's bare back and hair as she explored her entire body. Aha! Was the quietest groan Hanabi could manage before Mikan poked her with a finger. She moaned softly, trying not to give up, but it felt so good. Ha! Then Hanabi took charge and made an effort to cheer Mikan up. Hanabi fingered Mikan while kissing the drape of her neck. As they continued until Hanabi and Mikan were seated and making out once more, Mikan asked herself, why does this feel so good? They groaned into each other's mouths as their clits rubbed against one another. Mikan groaned, it's coming, I'm coming. As they both climaxed together and passed out, Hanabi said, me too, I'm gonna come. Momo entered as she turned to face Mikan's desk. Oh dear, she said, using her D-dial to retrieve a plan Celine had called out earlier that day while she was tinkering with it. So that's where it went. This particular alien plant emits a pheromone that makes anything that inhales it give in to their lustful desires. It's a useful tool for when a couple needs a little extra push. Well, what should we do? Since she was partially to blame for all of her plants, Momo thought. Well, I suppose now that they passed out, I can just fix things up so they think this was all a dream. It took some effort, but she managed to get it done, leaving Hanabi and Mikan sleeping in fresh pajamas and bed linens. When they woke up the following morning, they both felt as though it was a dream, but they remained silent about it as they awkwardly stood next to each other brushing their teeth. So, how was your sleep, both of you? This planet just gets more and more interesting, doesn't it? She asked in a way that made them choke a little. It was just a simple question, she said, laughing at their responses because she had seen enough evidence to know what had happened. Mikan and Hanabi would never discuss their alleged dream with anyone, save Momo, who might use it to tease them. It was another week of summer vacation, but someone was having problems with her big sister. We were in Hinata's room, and Hanabi was sitting on her knees while Hinata looked at her test results, which weren't good as she received a 39 in math and a 29 in science. Hanabi looked so embarrassed as Hinata sighed at her sister's test results, which also meant that Hinata had to be Hanabi's mother and big sister. Hinata said, this is not good. Hanabi. In embarrassment, Hanabi said, I know. Hinata gave a brief lecture, and Hanabi blushed and pouted a little. Mikan was standing by the door when she heard them converse and entered. I know it's been hard since we came here, but even back in our world we had to learn how to read and write along with history. She cried, Hinata-san. She heard her and said, yes, Mikan-san. I understand Hanabi-san failed, but we can enroll her in summer classes to help her so she can go on to the next grade. She clarified as Hinata listened. It'll cost a bit, but it'll be worth helping her. Ne-sama. Hanabi called because she didn't want to attend school during her summer vacation. There's space for debate here. Hanabi, I'll grant Mikan's request to apply for summer classes because I want you to succeed here, Hanabi said with a dejected expression. I'll apply as well, Mikan informed her. Are you certain? You haven't? Hinata was about to ask her a question. Well, I believe Hanabi-san would feel more at ease traveling with at least one acquaintance. I don't mind really, Mikan said, adding that she wanted to assist Hanabi while she was there because she's my friend and I want her to like this town as much as I do. Hanabi-chan. Her friend in this world, in fact, her first friend outside of the Hyuga clan, made Hanabi feel so fortunate to have her as a friend that she started crying a little. Hinata felt she was spoiling Hanabi, but she did want her younger sister to become more open and enjoy this world. As she received the funds required to cover their classes, she said, okay then. Mikan approached Hanabi and bent down. Hanabi-san, I promise you're gonna like this world too, and I'm gonna help you with your studies here as much as I can, Mikan stated to her. All right, Hinata said, why don't the two of go out for a bit? Hanabi paused briefly as they were leaving. She said, Ne-sama. Yes. Hanabi shook her head as if she had something to say, but Hinata answered. As she went to catch up with Mikan to assist her with grocery shopping for the day, Hanabi said, no, never mind, it's not important. Hinata sighed with relief that her younger sister was acting more like she used to and was no longer cold and distant. Training together really rekindled their bond as sisters, and Hanabi even asked if she could have a rematch with her when she gets stronger, this time without holding back because Hanabi wants to really see where she stands against her sister. Hinata was taken aback, but she understood her feelings and promised that one day they would give it their all. Hinata-chan. Are you prepared? Lala exclaimed while sporting a blue skirt, a red-orange shirt with the Kyoko logo on it, and a ponytail braid. Oh, that's right. Lala nodded to indicate that she understood, and Hinata said, sorry, I had to speak with Hanabi regarding her schoolwork. Yes, I understand ensuring that your younger sister pursues her education and leads a fulfilling life. I'm the same way about my sisters and make sure I'm a good role model, Lala declared with pride as Hinata laughed because Lala doesn't seem to think that running away from home to avoid her suitors wasn't a responsible choice. Why are these girls getting dressed and ready? Well, to their own surprise, Naruto approached them and asked them out on a date. They both agreed to meet him in the downtown area, and Naruto was told to go ahead of them so they could get preparation time and surprise him with their bags. As he watched people go by in the park, Naruto thought, I hope I'm dressed okay. He saw some couples and pondered how he would arrange a public date with two girls. Naruto turned to see Lala calling him out as her and Hinata were walking to him as she waved to him happily. The guys were look at Lala and Hinata as the two most beautiful girls they've ever seen. Hinata wasn't used to stares whereas Lala wasn't even aware as they reached Naruto. Hope we're not late, Lala said happily. Hinata nervously said, you look nice Naruto-kun. She hoped her outfit was acceptable. Naruto was a little stunned because both of their outfits had certain charms. Thanks, you two look lovely, Naruto said tremblingly. All right, let's go on our date. Everyone heard Lala's shout, and the three of them left the park to find something to do on their date. Naruto remembered something Momo had told him the night before when she had learned about the date. Now, Naruto-san, taking Oni-sama or Hinata-san out on a date is one thing. But taking them both out requires you to do everything in your power to satisfy their preferences in case you need it. I have investigated a few locations that both of them would like to visit, she said. He was going to inquire as to why she was assisting him. Why would you? As she made her way back to her room for the evening, she smiled and said, well, I want to see Oni-sama happy and she obviously doesn't mind sharing you, so I have to make sure you're at least capable of keeping a harem happy. Back in the present, Naruto led them to an aquarium, where they paid for their tickets and took a look inside. He recalled the first location. Wow! Are these earthly ocean creatures? Lala yelled excitedly as Hinata took in the beauty and was happy to see this world had animals similar to their world plus some she has never heard of before. Naruto made funny faces at the blowfish as it puffed up. For the rest of the description of the date, let's go with a little background music. The song I chose is 16-Bit Girl from Day Day Live. After the aquarium they passed by a pet store where Lala and Hinata petting some puppies. Naruto smiled simply cause he was seeing them smile. Then Naruto got into an argument with a parrot that kept calling him an idiot and throwing other insults at him. After getting Naruto away from the parrot they walked around till Lala noted an arcade. They went in to try it out. Lala enjoyed the dancing games. Hinata liked trying the crane games as they all went on a virtual roller coaster where they got it in a pod that closes on them and moves based on the virtual route they picked. Then they tried the photo booth and made silly faces, various hand signs. Hinata and Lala were cheek to cheek and made peace signs and smiled. Then on the last one they surprised Naruto by kissing his cheeks. They then had lunch at a family restaurant, though Lala had a really big appetite that could rival Naruto if it were a ramen eating contest, and Naruto noted how he and Hinata really liked similar kinds of soup. Naruto chuckled at how had some things in common with these two in different aspects. After some more walking around to different clothes shops where Peak recorded different outfits for her future use, and Lala then had Hinata try different outfits to show off her figure, but she looked so embarrassed in some of them. They then had Naruto try on some clothes for guys. After that they went for some crepes. Lala got strawberry chocolate whip topping while Hinata got banana chocolate whip topping and Naruto got mango whip topping. The three of them, obviously coming from different worlds, never tasted anything like it before. The day was so much fun, but they all headed home soon after since it was getting to be almost dinner time. They went home and to get ready to eat. We've returned home, Naruto shouted, but there was no response. They searched the house, but it was deserted. Naruto then discovered a note that Momo had written. Naruto-san, please for dinner. We all went out. I assisted Mikan in putting some dinner in the refrigerator for the three of you. The note added, XOXO, and XXX, and read, enjoy your free time. As he went to the stairs where Lala and Hinata were standing, Naruto confessed, that girl scares me sometimes. Well, looks like we're alone for a while, Naruto told them as he was about to suggest eating dinner when he tripped over them. The girls screamed a little. Naruto's hands landed on their butts, and he was unconsciously groping them a little. Both girls moaned. Hinata and Lala were embarrassed, but they looked at each other and nodded in agreement. Naruto-kun, exclaimed Hinata. Oh, apologies, Naruto apologized, but the girls held his hands there. Lala then spoke while blushing slightly. After they carried him up to Lala's room and laid him down, Lala said, "You know, since we are engaged and Hinata is someone who loved you long before me, we can do something special." Hinata bravely cupped his face to make out with him while Lala undressed and instructed Pete to go downstairs and rest until everyone got home. Pete complied to give them privacy, and Lala then pulled Naruto to kiss him. When Hinata was removing her summer dress and all of her underwear, Naruto and Lala moaned as their tongues swirled around each other. Hinata noticed the bulge in his pants. The girls then took off his clothes, and Naruto was full on erect. "Naruto!" Lala called out in a loving tone as she kissed him and then moved his hands to her breasts to massage them. "Whoa, I had no idea it could grow so large." Lala's tone was unexpected because Hinata appeared embarrassed when she saw it. Hinata closed her eyes and licked him slowly, after which Lala took note and followed her example. Lala then put Naruto's dick in her mouth and began sucking him off, before Hinata went for the base and then his ball sack. Lala was moving more quickly as she sensed Naruto becoming harder and a little longer, and Hinata was seen sucking his balls and swirling her tongue all over his ball sack. "Ah, Lala, Hinata." Naruto groaned their names as they felt fantastic, and he could feel their warm breaths and tongues all over her lower region as the girls groaned from making him good. "Oh my god, I'm going to come." With their mouths open and tongues out, Lala and Hinata withdrew as Naruto stroked himself and unleashed his first load on their faces. Naruto groaned as he felt that familiar build-up pleasure. Lala said, "So this is a man's seed?" Hinata muttered, "Naruto's sperm." For some reason, this made Hinata and Lala feel attracted to each other. They attempted to lick the sperm off one another until they began kissing, which was quite intense because their tongues were all over one another. Lala admitted, "Hinata, I love you as I love Naruto. I have to admit I feel the same way, Lala-san." Hinata said, acknowledging that even though she is shocked to be in love with Naruto, she also has feelings for Lala. They shared another passionate kiss while Naruto watched them as he became hard once more. Lala, realizing that Hinata had known Naruto for a long time, laid her down, and Naruto spread Hinata's legs while Lala rested her head on her lap and held her hands to ease the agony. Naruto said, "Here I come, Hinata." As Naruto pushed forward and Hinata flinched in agony, she responded, "Come to me, Naruto-kun." She squeezed Lala's hands as Lala attempted to calm her down, saying, "It's coming in, it's coming in." She groaned in her mind as Naruto eventually got all of him inside her. Naruto initially moved slowly as Lala stepped aside to allow them to have fun, but soon his thighs and hips were slapping into Hinata as he got on top of her completely as they shared a passionate kiss. Naruto didn't move for a while until Hinata assured him it was alright. "Lala!" Naruto yelled and motioned for her to approach him. She approached him, and he seized her tail and pulled her in for a kiss. Since Devolukian tails are extremely sensitive areas of stimulation, Lala moaned, "MMMMPPPH." As Naruto thrust into Hinata while simultaneously caressing Lala's tail, the combination of the two moans was audible. "HAHHHHHHHHHH." After the girls groaned, Naruto continued his current behavior while sucking on Lala's breasts. "I'm going to come, gonna come." As he entered Hinata, Naruto groaned. "Ah." Lala went on all fours so Naruto could grab her from behind as Hinata climaxed and felt all of his sperm enter her before pulling out. Lala called out, "Naruto," with a mixture of lust and love. This was something new to her, but she liked it nonetheless. Naruto positioned himself at her entrance and thrust into her, causing Lala to wince a little as he did so because, although it didn't hurt as much as Hinata's, she felt some pain from breaking her hymen. Her tail continued to move with each thrust, while her butt continued to jiggle from Naruto's deep and hard thrusts. "Ha, ah. It feels good, so good," Lala groaned as she felt something. Hinata was sucking on Lala's breasts. Lala groaned, "Ah." Hinata, because she was being attacked in this manner. Hinata was massaging the other boob and sucking on the right. Lala sensed Hinata's tongue flicking her nipple and circling her areola. "Ah." Lala groaned more loudly as Naruto's thrusts grew more rapid. Lala was shocked when Naruto grabbed his tail once more and began licking the tip. Lala groaned, "No, not my tail, it feels so good." Then, as he continued to thrust harder and faster into her, Naruto put some of it in his mouth and sucked on her tail. Naruto groaned, "Lala, I'm gonna come." When Naruto slammed his load into Lala, she groaned, "Me too. I'm coming, coming." Lala was being attacked everywhere, and she was drooling after learning that this was going to happen. Lala quickly got back up and used her D-dial to call forth some toys she had created, including a double-sided dildo and some strap-ons. Hinata was anxious about the direction of this with Hinata's arms encircling Naruto, who had just re-entered her. Naruto carried her with his arms beneath her knees. Hinata was anxious because Lala was going to give her anal. Lala-san, I don't know about this. As the strap lubricated and Lala cautiously entered, she responded, don't worry, this special guy has an auto-lubrication feature so I can enter with ease. It crept inside Hinata, causing her to wince in agony. Lala's breasts were pressed against Hinata's back, and she was completely inside. Hinata was groaning in agony and pleasure as Naruto and Lala initially moved slowly. Oh no, haha, oog, god, please. She moaned as both Naruto and Lala were going deep inside both holes. Both were going a little faster as Naruto let Lala hold her left leg where Hinata had to put her left arm over Lala's neck. Both kept thrusting as they both sucked one of Hinata's boobs. Hinata moaned even louder. Ah-h-h-h-o-h-h-h. Very deep, I'm losing my mind. Hinata gritted her teeth in an attempt to stop herself from drooling, but it was ineffective. Ah-ha-h-h. Lala was moaning since this strap-on sent vibrations to match Hinata's pleasure levels as it vibrated on her clitoris. It's amazing. I'm almost at my climax, Lala said, grunting and moving quickly. Hinata. As he planted a kiss on Hinata, Naruto yelled. I'm going to come. I'm coming. It was time for a little payback, but this time Naruto was lying on the bed as he slowly entered Lala's butthole. Hinata groaned to herself as she experienced a fairly intense orgasm. Lala groaned. Naruto, it's going in my back hole. Ah, it's in. She groaned, turning away from Naruto, who was now completely inside her butthole. Naruto continued to spread her legs while Hinata put on the strap she had made and stood over Lala's entrance. Ah. Lala groaned as she felt Hinata enter her, and Hinata trembled a little from the pleasure she was experiencing. Ha! She groaned as we fully witnessed Hinata slam her hips into Lala, using her feet for height and leverage to get deep inside Lala to the point where their breasts now press against one another. Naruto and Hinata then started their double penetration on Lala. Aha! Oh my goodness, amazing, Lala groaned. I love how Lala-san's breasts feel. Hinata moaned as we see their breasts rubbing on each other as Hinata and Lala made out as their tongues were trying to dominate each other. Lala moaned even more as Naruto got her tail in his mouth again. The three were moaning all throughout the room as Lala crossed her legs around Hinata to make her go deeper and harder. Hinata complied, as did Naruto when he felt Hinata going harder. Naruto and Hinata kept going and going till the climax, and Naruto shot his sperm into Lala's butt. Naruto then let the girls have their own fun with the double-side dildo as Lala and Hinata were scissored as both were moving to thrust into each other. Both moaned to where Naruto was already fully erect from watching them go till they both came. Lala then had her strap on go double mode where now she had fake dicks to put in both Hinata's holes, and it worked as Hinata moaned loudly. Her head was upside down on account of being on the edge of the bed, and Naruto thrusted into her mouth where Hinata was giving Naruto an upside down blow job. Lala thrusting both of Hinata's holes as Naruto thrusted in her mouth. Lala then sucked on Hinata's breasts, making Hinata go crazy. Hey. Hello. Hinata. With her boob in her mouth and her tongue circling her nipple, Lala groaned. Tastes so good. Oh my god. I will come, Naruto groaned as he pulled out and shot his load on Hinata's body for Lala to lick up. Lala got enough in her mouth to share with Hinata as they kissed again, and they continued until both of them orgasmed. Naruto was doing Lala from behind again as she was eating out Hinata's pussy while she was stroking her tail, focusing her chakra used for the gentle fist to make Lala's tail feel even better than normal. Peak was sound asleep on the couch to allow her to properly recharge. We've returned home, Rito shouted, but got no response. Momo suspected that the three were in the room because Peak was sleeping on the couch. Hanabi ran upstairs to check on her sister, and when she got to the lobby where the other rooms were, she heard a moaning sound coming from Lala's room. She proceeded slowly, as a ninja would, and peered through the small opening, and what she saw devastated her. Lala was lying down recovering next to Hinata, who was beneath Naruto as he thrust deep into her. Ah. Ha. Oh no. Naruto-kun. Naruto-kun. Hanabi saw the expression on Hinata's sister's face as they shared a kiss, and Hinata groaned with joy. Ne-sama no. Hanabi thought to herself as her childhood anxieties returned. She knew she should go, but her body wouldn't let her just yet, so she continued to watch. I'm coming. Naruto-kun. I'm going to come. Hinata groaned in delight. I'm coming, Hinata. As Naruto entered, he groaned, and Hinata let out a sigh of joy. Hanabi, who had seen that moment when she first saw her older sister, watched Naruto as she slowly stood up but was unable to walk normally. Ne-sama. Hanabi started crying as she slipped out of there and into Mikan's room so she wouldn't be seen or heard anymore. Mikan saw her friend dash in. Hanabi-san. Hanabi didn't say anything that night, but Mikan called out when she saw her friend crying Naruto, Lala, and Hinata spent the entire evening fighting, especially after Lala pointed out that she had left the door slightly open and closed it to allow the soundproof system to function properly. Mikan allowed Hanabi to sleep on the bed next to her, and she didn't know what to do but just held her friend close as she heard her mumble in her sleep because she was having bad dreams. "Don't go, Ne-sama, don't leave me alone again," she said as Mikan held her friend close in the hopes that it would stop her bad dream and give her enough sleep, and they slept like that the entire evening. A week later, Hanabi avoided talking to anyone about what she had seen or the reason behind her tears. Even during their training sessions, she would avoid her sister completely, pairing herself with Tenten or Rin instead, which made it difficult for Hinata to understand why she was going to such lengths to avoid her. Most notably, Hanabi would glare at Naruto, either saying nothing to him or acting rudely. Both Hanabi and Mikan wore summer classes. "We're leaving," Mikan informed everyone. "Be careful," Rito informed Mikan. "This is it, I made you a bento," Hinata said to Hanabi. Hanabi answered, "I don't need it, but it'll be a long day and I stated that I don't require it." Everyone was somewhat taken aback when Hanabi yelled at Hinata, and when he realized she had caused a commotion, he simply fled out the door. Hanabi, we were getting along better, weren't we?" Hinata called out, now looking sad and hurt by what had happened. What took place? While Hanabi was running to school with feelings of regret, sadness, and rage, she asked herself as she clutched her sister's bento and wanted to cry. The previous night, Naruto had been on top of Hinata, who was in need of someone, and he had attempted to fill the void in her heart by making love. Hinata gave in to the pleasure, but even Naruto could see that her mind was entirely elsewhere. It was early in the morning when we heard moans coming from Naruto's room. "Ah, I'm coming," Naruto groaned as he let go inside Hinata, who arched her back after experiencing an orgasm and sensing the flow of Naruto's seed into her. Naruto lay down beside her, and she rested her head on her shoulder, appearing somewhat melancholy. "What's on your mind?" he questioned her. Using the blanket to cover herself, she sat up and pulled in her knees, which were clearly visible against her covered breasts. I'm worried about Hanabi." "Does she continue to avoid you?" did he ask. "I simply cannot comprehend what transpired." In an attempt to understand her sister, Hinata said, "I thought we were getting along better." Naruto sat up beside her and held her close. As he pulled her in for a kiss, he said, "I'm sure whatever is bothering her, she'll come to you and open up. Have faith in her." Perhaps you are correct. Lala was already awake in her room, so she let Hinata spend time with Naruto while she worked on creating a new room that could serve as a sort of master bedroom. She used her hologram system to create a 3D blueprint of the eventual room while going through galactic room modeling and furniture, including ones from Earth. "I'm sure she'll come to me where she's ready," Hinata said. Feeling confident in Naruto's words, Hinata slipped back into her room wearing her underwear and a button shirt that Naruto had given her. No, as she disassembled the digital furniture and tossed it in a holographic trash can, she thought, that won't do either. After a good 30 minutes, she heard someone knock on Naruto's room and went to take a look. Hinata said, wrapped in a towel, "Naruto-kun, you can take a shower now." Naruto was getting excited when he saw her like that, but he tried to remain composed. As Hinata went to her room to get dressed, Naruto said, "Okay then." Naruto then proceeded to the shower while Lala was having a playful thought. He was about to grab the soap when he heard the door slide open. "Lala." "Naruto, good morning," she told him as she walked up to him completely naked. Lala was definitely in a league of her own when it comes to her body. "Need help washing your body?" she questioned him. In response, Naruto said, well." A few minutes later, he was sitting on the small stool while Lala began washing his back. Lala got the soap all over her breasts and began massaging them against him, surprising him with how firm and soft they were. Lala was moving up and down while muttering a little, and hearing her do so made Naruto blush. Lala continued as Naruto became harder, but finally stopped and poured water on both her and Naruto. With her breasts pressed against his back, Lala cleaned his hard dick with soap, saying, "Now for the front end." Lala." Naruto groaned as he felt good after being stroked by her. She was kissing the back of his neck and licking it with her soapy hands, and she continued until Naruto was completely hard, at which point she decided to get the water to wash off the soap. Lala wasn't sure if it was the hot water or her getting hot. As she moved in front of him, Lala exclaimed, "Oh my, you're really hard." She then let his dick circle around her lips and cheeks, kissed the tip lightly, and started to slowly put a small portion of it in her mouth, taking it all in. Oh. Lala's mouth was warm and her tongue was all over the place as she sucked him off, and even though her technique was rudimentary at best, Naruto groaned from it and grabbed her tail. "Pppph." Lala was taken aback when she sensed him caressing her tail and sucking its tip. and as they were reassuring one another, Naruto licked the entire tip of her tail. Hee. When Naruto's breath on her tail caused Lala to move her head faster in order to suck him off, both of them groaned until they were unable to contain their climaxes any longer. Naruto released his sperm inside her, and Lala squirted a little as she drank his sperm. Both of them were gasping for air as Naruto startled Lala and had her standing as he licked her wet pussy. Ah! Naruto! She moaned as Naruto was eating her out. His tongue tasting all her juices and clitoris. Aha! God, please! She moaned as Naruto got his tongue inside her, tasting her walls. To Naruto she tasted like a sweet yet sour fruit. Can't hold on, going to cum. She moaned as her cum went into Naruto's mouth and he drank down. Lala grabbed Naruto's hair as she felt her orgasm. Naruto moved his face back as he went up to Lala's face and kissed her. He then got her left leg over his left arm as he pushed his dick inside her. Ah! Lala groaned because she had not had time to recuperate. Lala, your pussy is really gorgeous. As he pushed into her, Naruto groaned. So large, so profound, Lala moaned as Naruto kissing her neck. Naruto's tongue to sitting her sweet skin. Lala and Naruto's hair were completely wet and damp from the mix of sweat and water. Naruto went faster and harder till he just couldn't hold back his load and released inside her. Ah! Lala moaned. Naruto then got her to face the wall as Lala had her hands on the wall for support as Naruto spread her legs and did her from behind. Aha! I will shatter. Lala moaned as Naruto grabbed her boobs for him to grope and pinch her nipples. Ah! Oh, oh! Lala's legs were about to give out with her next orgasm, so she couldn't take much more of her groaning as Naruto moved his right hand to her butt and felt her butt and thigh. Lala, I'm going to cum once more. As he let his sperm fall into Lala, Naruto groaned. Ha hhhh. When the two finally sat in the bathtub to unwind and recuperate, Lala giggled and moaned as she arched back and collapsed into Naruto's arms. How are you? Did he ask? Nothing, in a playful joke, she said. It just feels like we're already married being like this. Naruto blushed and wrapped his arms around Lala as she made him come in for another kiss. After they had finished and managed to avoid being seen by anyone, they took the time to get dressed while Mikan prepared breakfast before leaving for summer classes with Hanabi. Everyone, as many as could eat at the table, where some, like Sake, Rin, and Aya, had already eaten, started as Naruto fed Celine and Shirobara, even though they could have done it herself. Naruto said, we may need to consider getting a bigger table. Mikan answered, but we'd need more space for it. Hanabi hurriedly finished his meal, walked out without saying anything, and waited for Mikan outside. Hanabi-san. Mikan turned to her friend, still unsure of what was wrong and only knowing that it had to do with her sister. Naruto appeared calm, as we could see beneath the table, and the tablecloth provided a good cover for Sake to quietly suck him off while his legs were wrapped around her. Sake moved slowly and remained silent, but it made things more exciting for both of them. Everyone had finished their meal, and as Mikan was leaving, they all had plans for the day. I'm leaving. As everyone bid her farewell, Hanabi sat waiting for Mikan by the mailbox. Rito remarked, guess we should clean up the dishes. Oh, I got it, Naruto said to them. Go ahead, you guys. Momo said, you sure? With the tone of someone who was about to come, Naruto said, yeah, I ain't going anywhere for a while. Momo noticed his response, realized what was going on, and smiled a little. As she led everyone outside to carry out their daily plans, Momo said, well, if he's sure, then let's leave him to it. Naruto exhaled with relief after everyone had left. Naruto groaned as he put his hands on Saki's head and forced her to drink it down, saying, crap. Gonna cum. Sake gulped it down after Naruto scooted his chair back. She paused to catch her breath before sucking him off once more. Unbeknownst to them, Momo recorded them in her room using a tiny webcam that broadcasts in high definition to her laptop. She didn't intend to show anyone, but since Rito has been on her mind lately, she enjoyed looking at these items and making a note of how to use them for reference. As Sake retreated for a moment, he said, "Ah, Sake, this feels awesome." As she continued to suck him off, she said, "It's all for you, Naruto-sama." To remove and wash the dishes from the table, Naruto created 2 shadow clones. Naruto got to his feet and thrust into her mouth. Sake groaned a little as Naruto thrust into her throat. Feeling so good, Naruto groaned, "Ah, Sake," as he poured more sperm down her throat. Sake groaned, "Pwah," as Naruto tore off her light pink summer dress, tore off her underwear, and placed her on the table as Naruto kissed her and put his dick inside her moist pussy. She groaned, "Naruto-sama." "Ah." Naruto was thrusting so quickly and forcefully that the table was trembling a little. "I'm glad the dishes were taken out." Naruto yelled, "Sake, Sake," as he continued to crash into her. She groaned. Yes. Naruto-sama. Give me more. She enjoyed it and didn't mind if Naruto broke her. His thrusts were making her drool a lot. They clasped hands and continued kissing while examining each other with their tongues. Naruto persisted until he entered her. Ah. Naruto-sama. She groaned into her mouth. Fortunately, the majority of the others were either in the space Lala created for her in the others' rooms or had already left the house. After glancing at Sake, Naruto couldn't resist turning her around and examining her butthole as Naruto gave her a startled look. She begged him to give her anal. Naruto-sama, please put it in here too. Naruto couldn't resist getting on the table with her and thrusting his dick into her butthole. Okay, he exclaimed. Naruto was letting his hair down. Ah. Oh god. Naruto groaned as he thrust into her butthole. Your ass is so tight. With each thrust, Naruto's hips slapped against Sake, causing her to collapse onto the table. Ah. Naruto-sama. You're so rough. I love it. She groaned, drooling on the tablecloth with a sex-crazed expression. Gonna come from anal, she groaned. As he delivered a final, forceful slam into her asshole, Naruto groaned, me too. I'm coming. Sake moaned, arching back. Ah. As she felt the hot sperm entering her butt, they both breathed heavily as Naruto lay on top of her. Sake exclaimed, Naruto-sama, as they were about to share another kiss when they heard a sound. They both asked, and then the table legs suddenly broke and snapped. Ah, both of them exclaimed. Naruto remarked, this is gonna cost me. Sake answered, I can purchase a new table before they return. Following that, Sake called Naruto regarding the table while Naruto dressed and used his clones to clean up the mess. Mikan and Hanabi are seen on their way to school. In the meantime, Mikan was still concerned about her friend's strange actions. They arrived at the school and were on their way to class when two boys approached them and attempted to give them love letters. As she informed them that they had to get to class and that they were not interested, Mikan thought to herself, oh boy, here we go again. Love letters started to fall out when they opened their lockers, which was ridiculous because Hanabi and Mikan were beginning to find this annoying. Then another boy approached them. Excuse me, I don't suppose you two would be interested in going out. When Mikan realized they would both be late for class, she took Hanabi's hand and said, sorry, but neither of us are really interested. Sorry about that. Damn, guess I'll have to change my approach. The boy grinned, his teeth showing that he wasn't human. The lessons flew by, but Hanabi needed some guidance, so she was happy Mikan was there to help her grasp the subject. After summer classes ended, they went grocery shopping at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Mikan was shocked by the new table when they got home. She exclaimed, what happened to the table? Because it was brand new and had a sheen that made it stand out. Nervously, Naruto had to make up a lie as he passed. As Hanabi climbed the stairs to avoid him, he nervously laughed. Oh well, basically one of the legs was messed up and the old one fell apart. Hee. As she placed the groceries on the new table and decided what to have for dinner, Mikan chose to ignore his blatant lie. For some reason, Mikan seemed anxious about this one. Hey Naruto-san, can I ask for a favor? She asked, and Naruto listened. Hanabi was lying in bed with her left arm covering her eyes. In the interim, Hinata sees her sister outside in the lobby area, but she sighs sorrowfully because she doesn't seem to want to talk to her anymore. After going downstairs to assist Mikan with dinner preparations as a big sister herself, Lala saw this and made the decision to help because she finds it intolerable when siblings don't get along. Hanabi's door was knocked on by Lala. Hanabi said, Lala. Lala sat on the corner of her bed and jumped, saying, Yahoo! How are you, Hanabi-chan? She declared, I don't want to talk to anyone. You seem to have something on your mind. You know Hinata is worried about you, right? Lala questioned, causing Hanabi to wince despite her apparent attitude. Hanabi answered, what about it? She doesn't need me anymore. Lala questioned, why would you say that? Hanabi was unable to stop talking. As she attempted to wipe away her tears, Hanabi cried out, I saw you, Naruto, and Ne-sama doing it. He took my sister away from me. At last, Lala solved the puzzle and embraced her. There, it's a silly thing to worry about. Naruto could never steal Hinata from you. You're her precious family. I know, because she told how the two were close and how she threw a battle the two have had under your father's orders because she couldn't bear the thought of hurting you. Lala said to her with tears bursting forth. Hanabi then shared with Lala how she had observed her sister's transformation since seeing Naruto for the first time. I see. Did you ever ask her about why or what she saw in him? She inquired. As Lala grinned, she admitted, well no, from Hanabi's perspective. Lala told her, then the only thing to do is talk to her, let her know how you feel. Lala appeared to be a saint glowing with divine light. Also try to get to know Naruto too, it may help you better understand him, she continued. Hanabi said, defeated, I will try. there was something about Lala that prevented him from responding. Everyone enjoyed their meal at the new table, and while Sake and Naruto remained silent, everyone kept inquiring as to what had happened to the old one the following morning. As she walked past Hinata in the hallway on the second floor, Hanabi was getting her backpack with trepidation. She said, "I'm heading out now." Hinata glanced at her sister, hoping that this signified their reconciliation. Hinata said to her, "Oh, okay, then be careful, okay?" Hanabi hugged her after noticing the anxious expression she gave her sister. Hinata grinned, relieved that she was at last opening up. "I will when I get home. Can we talk?" she said. She gave her sister a hug in return and said, "Of course, I'll be right here when you get home." When Hanabi went outside, he saw Mikan and Naruto together. She questioned, "What are you doing here?" Although Hanabi did not fully accept Naruto, she did represent Mikan's decision to call him out with them. Naruto responded, "Mikan asked me to walk you guys to school since it seems like you got a lot of guys not leaving you alone or something to that effect." She told him as she began to walk, "Fine, just don't do anything embarrassing." Mikan followed Naruto as he took the lead in order to get a better look at Naruto. Hanabi followed them. Walking beside him, Mikan appeared uneasy as she tentatively extended her hand and took it as they walked hand in hand to school. Naruto grinned. Hanabi appeared a little irritated that Naruto was now a player, but she assured Lala that she would make an effort to learn more about him and would postpone making any judgments until later. The typical boys weren't there to welcome them when they arrived. She remarked, "This is new." Mikan remarked, "I wasn't expecting this either." Naruto said, taking note of the time, "Maybe they decided to give you two a break. Well, no sense in worrying about it, you two get going now," he said to them. As they dashed into the building, they both said, "Right." Naruto turned the corner where yesterday's mystery boy had been watching him go. Since the classes were proceeding smoothly, the instructor thought it would be beneficial to give them a reward. According to the instructor, they will play sports for fun during the final hour of summer classes. Hanabi quickly changed into her gym attire as some of the other girls noticed how adaptable Hanabi was for her age. She stretched. Although Hanabi didn't think much about it or pay much attention to it, she had gained a lot of popularity, just like Mikan. Since Mikan appeared to be taking a little break, Hanabi asked herself in her head, "I wonder where Mikan is." Mika had just finished getting dressed, but she needed to replace her old shoelaces because they were tearing apart. She walked out into the hallway and said, "Done." For some reason, she felt a shiver run down her spine as she was walking. She heard footsteps. When she looked back, she saw that the mysterious boy from the other day was approaching her. She said that he would definitely listen, but to her surprise, something else occurred when she noticed his evil-looking grin. "Oh, it's you. Look, what I said yesterday still stands. Neither me nor Hanabi-san are interested in going out with you." Mikan gasped as he ran toward her, wondering where Mikan was. Hanabi dashed inside the structure. "Mikan! Mikan!" she exclaimed, trying to find her companion. She ran until she spotted a left-foot shoe. When she picked it up, the handwritten initials told her it was Mikan's. Hanabi became anxious. "Byakugan!" she exclaimed as she searched the entire structure for Hanabi and discovered her. This was a unique training that she and Hinata had been doing to help their Byakugan grow. She was unconscious and being carried by someone on the roof when she was discovered. In order to chakra climb the building to the roof and discover Mikan totally unconscious, Hanabi dashed outside. "Mikan!" Hanabi then recognizes the boy from yesterday, who appears to have gained muscle and grown 2 feet in height. You're an alien," exclaimed Hanabi. In a voice that sounded more like an echo monster, he said, "Way to finally notice me." Hanabi glared at him while using her Byakugan, saying, "Give me back Mikan." He stuck out his tongue and said, "Ooh, such a cute little glare. I love it." As he leapt to the next roof, he exclaimed, "If you want her, come and get her." Without even bothering to call for assistance with a clone jutsu, Hanabi pursued him. The alien entered warehouse number 56 as the pursuit continued throughout the entire city before arriving at the warehouse district. As she entered from the roof to get the upper hand, Hanabi could still see him running toward the middle of the building. She leapt in and assumed a soft fist position. It was odd that everything was pitch black, but she could still see the alien and Mikan in front of her. The only light coming in was from the window on the roof. He continued to drool and laugh like a pervert. He exclaimed, "Surprise!" as she pressed a switch to tie Hanabi down with an alien-made fiber rope. Even though her Byakugan is still unfamiliar with alien metals and the like, she was so preoccupied with Mikan that she neglected to maintain a 360-degree view of her surroundings. "I knew if I got one of you the other would chase me without paying attention to the area we're in." Grr! Hanabi was frantically attempting to save Mikan, but the rope was too strong for her to break free. The alien had them both strapped to chairs after half an hour. "I've been eyeing you both for a long time, Mikan. You're so adorable, and you have some special abilities that could make you both very strong children. Young people? You can't mean? Hanabi was worried about the direction of this. Oh, that's right, although I prefer them when they are still developing. I have been searching for humans to mate with here. They are simply my favorites, he said as he turned on another light, revealing he had a collection of pictures of little girls aging from 7 to 13 as Hanabi had a sweat drop effect and looked grossed out at how an alien as big as him is an actual lolicon. Oh, it's going to be great. I have all your clothes ready too, he said, demonstrating that he had gone and purchased a variety of clothing for young girls, ranging from gothic to Oni-tan styles. Gosh, it's going to be adorable, I'm so excited. As he let his tongue get ready to take off Hanabi's shirt, he yelled excitedly, I think I'll start with you. Hanabi was trembling in terror. Wishing that anyone would come help her, she thought of her sister, then Lala, and Finalia, the person she couldn't accept yet, as he grinned silly. Help me, Naruto. She screamed as someone burst through the roof and stomped on the alien's tongue, causing a crash to be heard above them. Oh no. My tongue. When the dust settled and it became clear that it was Naruto, the alien yelled. You came? As she couldn't believe he was here and couldn't help but notice how manly he looked, Hanabi asked. I apologize for being late, however, I sensed something was wrong, so I had to ask someone to look into this for me. Wait a little longer, Naruto told her, popping his knuckles and then his neck as the alien finally recovered his tongue. By the time we realized someone was after you too, you guys were already gone. He activated a robot he had paid top dollar to be his security, saying, I don't know how you got here, but I am more than prepared for intruders. Naruto didn't appear concerned. Oh, that's good. As he prepared hand signals, he said, hidden ninja art. He began as the robot delivered the first blow. Chakra chain release. I've been meaning to find a practice dummy since it's hard to practice this technique without hurting someone. He said as his chakra chains came out. Naruto had been spending a lot of his training learning to call them out at will, and it went a lot faster after learning shadow clones can pass their experiences back to him and knowledge they gained back to him after poofing. Style 1. Slice. Naruto commanded as the chains wrapped around the robot spun around at a fast rate. It sounded like a saw cutting something. The robot lost its arm. Style 2. Pierce. To the surprise of the alien, Naruto gave the order as the chains tore through the core and tore it apart. The alien observed Naruto's irate expression and declared, That's impossible. Time for a retreat. While Naruto untied the girls, he hurried to the door. Hanabi said, He's gonna get away, I wouldn't be concerned. When the alien arrived at the door and opened it, Naruto said, If he thinks I'm mad. He continued, saying, Wait till he sees everyone else. We saw a very angry Hinata and Rito, as well as an irritated Yami, who hated these kinds of perverts, especially when they were going after her friends because she had spiked mace fists ready. Hinata focusing her chakra to her palms, and Rito, whose beads changed color once more, poised to throw a couple of punches. The alien screamed in agony, and Lala had called Zaston to meet Naruto and the others, arresting this alien who was already wanted on other planets for similar crimes until he hid himself on Earth. Ne-sama. Hinata began to cry with relief that they arrived in time, and she said, I'm so glad you're okay. Why did you go after him on your own like that? Hinata inquired with concern rather than in an attempt to reprimand her. Hanabi sobbed as she confessed in a guilty tone, I just wanted to save Mikan, and I just wanted to be strong like you. I was also scared that because you got together with Naruto that I wasn't important to you anymore. She had made her sister and herself worry about her. Hanabi, you will always be significant. I adore you just as much as I adore Naruto. The only remnant of mother I have left in the leaf, and here is you. My dear sister, after my mother passed away, I vowed to always look after you. Hinata assured her, I won't forget about you just because I fall in love with someone else. I now know that Sniffle. I'm so sorry, Ne-sama, Hanabi said as she cried into her sister's chest, and Hinata held her close. Everyone was glad they got closure. Naruto was gonna go on ahead, but, wait. Naruto turned around as Hanabi yelled. Hanabi looked embarrassed and said, I'm sorry for being rude to you. I thought because of what everyone back home always said. I'm sorry. I should have gotten to know you better is what I want to say. Naruto grinned, put his hand on her head, and slightly tousled her hair. Don't stress over it. You were watching out for your sister. You can't be blamed for that. That demonstrated to me how wonderful a person you were. With his well-known silly smile, Naruto told her, You're a strong kid, Hanabi. For some reason, this made her heart skip a few beats, and she turned away in shame as Hinata laughed at her younger sister's response. When Mikan finally woke up and was told what had happened, she thanked everyone and Hanabi for saving her. Just don't make her cry, big dummy, she said in embarrassment. Unsure of how to handle this new feeling, Hanabi hugged her best friend and said, "I promise next time I'm gonna get stronger, okay?" She grinned at Hanabi and told Mikan. Happy that her friend would put in a lot of effort for her, Mikan said, "Okay, Hanabi-san. Then I'll make sure to help you more with your studies. Hey, let's go grab some snacks on the way back since Yami-san is here," Mikan proposed. "Is Taiyaki the culprit?" Yami inquired. "Yes. Hurry up." A near-miss incident was resolved, Mikan said, standing in the center, holding hands with her two best friends as they conversed well. Yami mostly listened to them but still enjoyed it. Everyone was doing well in the Yuki house today. Hanabi was doing well in her summer classes, and Mikan was helping her better understand the material. Hinata and Hanabi were well on their way back to normal, but there was something different about Hanabi, especially when he was around. Early this morning, while Naruto was still asleep, Hanabi snuck into his room and looked at his sleep, remembering how cool he actually looked and how he saved her and Mikan. She remembered seeing her sister kiss Naruto as she peeked through her door and wondered what it would be like to kiss him, and she used her ninja speed to get out of there before he waking up. Well, was there anyone present? As Naruto placed his hand on his lips, he asked himself, "Why'd I feel like I just got kissed?" Hanabi was back in her room, looking red as a tomato, not believing she had done that. It actually brought back that dream she had of Mikan, and it still felt very real. She said, "Oh my god, that wasn't a dream." Hanabi spent Sunday trying to come to terms with her realization because she now feels as though she has feelings for both Naruto and Mikan. While she was thinking about this, Nana was passing by, wondering who she would choose because a certain ritual was about to happen. Momo thought it was time to teach her about life after noticing her twin sister's recent infatuation with a certain blonde. Nana was humming a song as she passed Momo's room. "What's causing your excitement?" Momo inquired. "As the alpha twin, I am permitted to participate in the mating ritual, which will take place in 3 days. I intended to ask Naruto if he would like to accompany me." Nana responded, feeling as though she was going to beat Momo at something for once. "Unlike you, the beta twin, I have a much more powerful ability and will get close to Naruto since he's proven to have good characteristics, and you who can only talk to plants and haven't made any progress with Rito will get to be shown as the inferior beta twin." Momo became irritated, which quickly turned into a devilish grin, and he grabbed Nana, dragged her into her room, and placed her on a chair in front of a laptop. "Hey, what are you doing?" Momo grinned like a yandere, and Nana asked. "How well versed in the ritual are you, Nana?" Momo inquired. "What? How much are you aware of?" Momo inquired once more. As part of the ritual, the two go on a date, soak in a natural hot spring at the end of the date, and then the alpha bites the beta's neck to mark her as his. They are regarded as husband and wife when they get back home, and 9 Earth months later, a baby magically shows up, Nana said. PFF'd. Momo tried not to laugh at how naive and uninformed her sister was about life's realities, making it sound like a fairy tale. "What's funny?" With suspicion, Nana inquired. Momo took a disc from her shelf called Bestial Harem Eroge, and put it into her laptop, leaving her D-dial on record because she knew Nana's reactions would be hilarious. "I think you need to learn about some things you skipped during our royal lessons." The screen eventually came on with the game as Momo selected a scene with a dog-boy hybrid and a fox-girl hybrid. "I'm not really following their kissing," she said, blushing slightly. "That's not so bad." Momo laughed a little. As they read the dialogue and listened to the sexually suggestive groans from the kiss, Nana's face reddened with every scene until, at last, the fox girl was on her knees. "Just keep watching," she said. The fox girl was now examining the dog boy's manhood, so Nana's question was quickly answered. "What is she? What is?" The fox girl licked the shaft before she could get her obvious response. "Why is she licking it?" Nana shouted. As the fox girl kissed the tip and slowly placed it in her mouth, Nana made a soft shrieking sound, not believing what she was seeing, and Momo responded, "'Cause it feels good for him, silly." What is she doing right now? Why is she acting in that manner? Nana screamed in fear. "Oh, Nana, calm down, she's just blowing him off," Momo said. However, why is she acting in that way? Nana, who was as red as a tomato, asked. Momo grinned and said, "Because she loves him and wants him to feel good, of course." The scene went on as Nana attempted to cover her eyes but kept peeking through her fingers to see the fox girl moving faster and deeper until she heard the dog boy say he was coming. "What's next?" Her query was addressed when she saw white liquid emerge from his manhood and the fox girl let it all go down her throat while she savored the flavor. "Oh, Nana, calm down, you can call it his sperm, cum, baby seed, or whatever you want," Momo clarified. "That's how you know a guy feels good." Nana couldn't speak clearly because she was too shocked, but why did she? Momo answered, because she loves him and doesn't want to waste a drop. That's the very stuff needed from a papa to get the mama pregnant, of course. However, Nana was too taken aback by what transpired next to the dog boy licking the fox girl's womanhood. What? It's too filthy, he's licking there, but why? She shouted. As Nana was taking notes on the reactions and dialogue from the fox girl, who was squirming and moaning loudly as she wrapped her legs around her lover's head, Momo merely told her, he wants her to feel good too, of course. Nana didn't believe this, though, as the fox girl climaxed by spritzing the dog boy's face. We refer to that as an orgasm when it occurs. It is satisfying for a girl. It helps to stimulate various parts of the girl's body, including her breasts, nipples, butthole, vaginal area, and for us Devolukians, our tails are an extra spot for whoever our lovers are. Then came the main act, where the dog boy's manhood entered the fox girl's pussy. As she spread it open for him to do so, Nana tried not to look, but her curiosity got the better of her when the fog boy finally released his sperm into the fox girl. Nana thought the mating session was over. So, did you gain any knowledge? Momo inquired. Himina 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 Himina. Nana laughed as she jolted her out of her reverie, and steam poured out of her head, demonstrating how much this affected her. What? Momo smiled and said, well, I hope this was a learning experience for you. Nana walked out slowly, embarrassed, and remember he'll like if you don't waste a drop. Quit talking. As Momo shut her door, Nana screamed and passed by before running into Naruto. Hey, how are you? When Naruto asked, Nana became enraged and red-faced before pushing him away. You perverted monster, don't touch me, Nana shouted as she bolted. What did I do? Naruto asked, so Nana decided to take a bath in a hot spring inside her D-Dial's virtual world where she keeps all of her animals. She couldn't get what she saw out of her head and noticed a certain itch between her legs, so she decided to give it a try. When she first moaned, she started to finger herself, then her left hand grabbed her tail and began to stroke it. This made her feel even wetter, and she kept stimulating herself faster and faster until she felt like a huge wave of pleasure passed her, and she let out a loud moan as she squirted into the water, breathing heavily until she felt ashamed and beat herself up for doing something perverted. While everyone else's days were going rather well, Naruto and Rito happened to walk by when they heard moaning coming from the living room and saw that Naruto was attempting to breastfeed Celine. What on earth are you up to? They both shouted. When Hinata and Sake entered the room and heard Naruto's response, the boy's mouth fell open. Celine was hungry, and this book said newborn children need to drink from the mother's milk. Naruto didn't really understand Hinata's embarrassed explanation. Naruto, that's only if the mother gave birth to baby or if the woman can already produce milk and acts as the surrogate mother. Creation? Surrogate? Naruto was undoubtedly perplexed. Sake told her bluntly, it means if you haven't produced milk then you can't feed them. Naruto appeared shocked as Celine continued to try to get milk. Well, I believe I can figure this out. After listening in, Lala shouted, just give a bit of time to work on it. She then called out her all-purpose tool and dashed upstairs. What? Everyone failed to understand Lala's statement that she could find a solution. While Mikan was helping Hanabi with her studies upstairs in her room, Hanabi couldn't help but feel self-conscious in Mikan's presence. What's not right? Mikan inquired. Nothing, Hanabi answered, just a little distracted. You've been acting like this all day. Mikan grinned and said to her friend, come on, you can tell me. Hanabi nervously said, well, do you recall a dream of you and me doing something? In what way? Mikan inquired. Like kissing, Hanabi answered, and Mikan blushed as it clicked on her. Mikan realized that wasn't a dream and said, what are you talking, you can't mean oh god. I don't know, is it bad to like more than one person? Hanabi questioned Mikan. What are you saying? Unable to look at Hanabi, Mikan asked. It's not as if there's a rule that says she can't like both girls and boys, right? Hanabi looked anxious as she said, you like Naruto and well I guess I do too, but I also think I like you too, so do you think maybe we can try and see if it was just a fluke? Mikan had to consider that and admit the thought was on her mind now. Okay, but only for a second. If there's nothing then we drop it and never speak of it again, Mikan responded. Oh, that's right, naturally, definitely, Hanabi said, fully comprehending Mikan's response. All right, then so here I go, Hanabi told her as her heart was beating fast as was Mikan's as she closed her eyes waiting for Hanabi. Hanabi got closer and closer till they finally made contact. After a second they stopped. Anything? Mikan's response was, I don't know, I'll try again. Hanabi gave her another kiss, this time a little longer, before they parted ways. More, Mikan muttered as Hanabi cupped her face, and they continued kissing until they just fell to the ground and made out for a while after gasping for air. The two realized they had at least a spark, and since they both liked Naruto, they decided to give it a shot. While holding hands they kissed again as they started doing what they had done that night without the flower's influence, and Mikan kissed Hanabi's breasts, which were beginning to grow as far as Mikan could tell. "Huh, Mikan," Hanabi groaned as she removed her shirt and Mikan removed their underwear, which for Hanabi was pants and underwear because Mikan was still wearing a skirt. They kissed again as they positioned themselves in a 69 position, with Mikan on top of Hanabi and both of them licking each other's womanhoods. They were enjoying the sensation of each other's smooth skin, and Mikan enjoyed the way she was feeling her up. After a while, they crossed their legs while sitting and scissoring each other. "Ah, Hanabi-san. Hanabi-san." Mikan groaned. Mikan. Hanabi groaned in response as they continued to grind more quickly while feeling their clits rub against one another. They were both perspiring a little from scissoring each other. "Hanabi-san, I'm. Mikan, I agree, I'm." During their orgasm, both moaned, coming. While holding hands, Mikan and Hanabi were on top of each other, both of them gasping for air as they gazed at one another and kissed passionately. Later that night, they went to Naruto's room, where he was lying in bed when they approached him. Naruto was taken aback when they kissed him simultaneously and said, "What's up? You two look like you got something on your minds." As she and Mikan fled in embarrassment and excitement, Hanabi remarked, "We decided to share our feelings with you and each other as well, so look after us like you're doing with the others too." Not really believing that two little sisters of people he knew were now interested in him, Naruto asked himself, what just happened? Hanabi and Mikan walked to school together the next morning, both excited and anxious. Hanabi demonstrated that they would be all right by holding Mikan's hand in some way when they arrived at the schoolyard. Boys were once more making promises, asking for dates, and confessing their love for them. They would probably try harder if you told them they liked an older guy. To be honest, Mikan wished there was a way to permanently stop them. After observing that one of the boys was touching Mikan's hand during his confession, Hanabi decided to pursue her audacious plan. Mikan exclaimed, "EHH!" as she was abruptly spun around and drawn in for a passionate, long-lasting kiss by Hanabi. The boys were completely taken aback when Mikan gave in to the kiss, drooling a little as she felt Hanabi's tongue controlling her. They split up for air after 30 seconds. Holding Mikan close to her, Hanabi declared, "Okay, you saw that? Mikan is mine and I'm not handing her over to anyone else." Hanabi's recent declaration of an open relationship with the school left Mikan feeling completely flushed and unsure of how to react. "If you got a problem with it, then come at me from anywhere," Hanabi said as she and Mikan entered the school hand in hand. Hanabi said, "Now if you'll excuse us, we're gonna be late for class." There, it was quite the spectacle at this moment. A ship was making its way to Earth. Only the shadowy figure of a girl lying on her bed is visible, watching television screens that appear to have been hacked to study every man on Earth, including any hidden alien ones. She asked, freezing the screens as we saw the frozen screen with Naruto on it, assisting Hinata with some grocery shopping while they talked about things and got to know one another better. She remarked, "Strong, handsome, looks promising." Since she had the lighter items, Naruto insisted on carrying the heavier ones for her. Naruto was simply grinning as if nothing negative would occur anytime soon. A ship was nearly headed for Earth just outside the atmosphere of Mars. This ship was going there to look for a specific person, but let's concentrate on Earth's events for the time being. Lala was working on her invention to assist Naruto with breastfeeding, but a malfunction kept causing it to blow up. Hinata and Naruto were engaged in combat. Naruto believed that his taijutsu needed improvement because, despite all of his ninja training, it was only applicable to careless street fighting. In an attempt to avoid becoming overly distracted by the fact that he was sparring her shirtless, Hinata was assisting him in selecting a form that best fit Naruto. Hanabi watched them leave, but it didn't surprise her that Hinata found a way to toss Naruto onto his back. "Ow," she said. "Sorry, are you okay?" with concern. Hee. Yeah, that was a great counter. Just shows how strong you already are, Hinata. I just gotta work on my taijutsu a little more," Naruto replied with a grin as Hanabi handed them their water bottles and they both took a sip. He stood back up. "Given that Japan experiences extremely hot summers," Naruto remarked, "man sure is hot today." Momo was looking at his work while Rito was watering his garden's plants. Then Celine rushed in with a jar of water of her own to aid in their growth. "Mao!" she exclaimed joyfully. She smiled and said, "You really know how to take care of plants, Rito-san." Rito blushed a little. He said, "Oh, it's a big deal. I do this 'cause I like it." Momo grinned at his candor. "You shouldn't sell yourself short. All the plants in this garden alone are happy with how you've taken care of them," she stated to him. "Really? He inquired as Rito blushed and felt pleased that his plants were content with him. She said, yes, even with my ability I don't think I've ever heard plants feel so loved or talk about their caretaker as much they do you. Naruko allowed Shirobara to doze off in her lap while she watched the weather news for the day. Mikan observed everything that was going on, including Saki's graceful tea drinking at the dining table with Rin and Aya. The woman said, everyone here is like a family really? Nana woke up and came in yawning. As she walked with her hair down and wearing basic shorts and a sleeveless shirt, she said, good morning. Mikan said, morning? It's almost noon. I know we're on break and all, but that's no reason to be sleeping in, Mikan grumbled. She pulled a bottle of soda from the refrigerator and said, sorry, just had trouble sleeping. Really? How come? Mikan questioned, recalling Momo's talk about the origins of babies. As Nana glanced first at Naruto and then at Momo, she began downing her soda while flushed. Mikan said, hey, not so fast. To her, because of all the gas in the soda, Nana burped quite loudly. Momo pretended to be sophisticated in front of everyone, teasing, oh my, that was rather unladylike of you, sister. Nana yelled, shut up. As the sky darkened, Nana said, hey, is it supposed to rain today? As she searched a television guide for shows worth watching, Naruko replied, nope. As they all look up, Naruto says, I don't think that's a cloud. Lala hears what sounds like a spaceship and even looks out her window. Lala exclaimed joyfully, hey, I know that ship. While Nana grimaced and peered out the window, hey Nana, isn't one of your friend's ships? Lala responded. Nana grumbled, ugh, please not her. The ship approached the house in the middle of the road. Although the neighbors were in a panic, it was nothing that a few fly-biting robots could not handle. When the ship was close enough to drop off, a girl with orange hair with black stripes, a tail, and even whiskers close to her nose appeared. She also had ears on her head. This girl appeared to be a hybrid of a tiger and a human. She required bodyguards. One appeared to be a wolfman, and the other a rhino man, in contrast to the girl, who had a balance of both animal and human characteristics. Human-like shapes had full animal heads. The wolfman was still fairly large but not as muscular as the rhino. The tiger girl said, so this the plebeian planet known as Earth? Uncertain of the meaning of the word, Naruto questioned, plebeian? She said, ah, there he is. As she passed the majority of people and went directly to Naruto to observe him. Yes, you definitely have some proud qualities, to be sure, not too bad to look at either, she replied. Naruto said, excuse me. She looked at Mikan, who was wearing an apron, and asked, does this planet not serve tea when royalty comes? Everyone was still perplexed after allowing her inside and giving her some tea. Rito said, hey, Nana, isn't she a friend of yours? Ew. As if I can't stand her, why is she even here? Replied Nana. I wasn't expecting to run into other princesses here. It's nice to see you again, Momo. Lala, she replied. In a typical polite manner, Momo said, yes, how lovely to see you as well, Tigra-san. Naruto said, Momo, mind filling us in? Oh, right. Ahem, this girl, much like myself, is a princess. She is the only daughter and next in line to be queen of the beast planet. And Terra, her planet, is similar to Earth yet different. As you can tell, it's a planet where all the natives have evolved into an animal-like form and each is separated by tribe. However, one tribe rules over the planet, which is currently the Tiger tribe, and Princess Tigra of the Tiger tribe is that next ruler, Momo continued. Tigra answered, thank you for the kind introduction, Momo. How do you know each other then? Inquired Sake. Our parents typically meet in a council of kings meetings, so we occasionally go and meet her and other royal family member like Run too. Momo responded. Mikan said, so why did you come to Earth? Oh right, I'll just cut to the chase since I don't want to bore all of you with the details, but I am seeking a mate, she informed them. A ritual is almost upon us and it's imperative I find one before then. When Nana realized what kind of ritual she was referring to, she shuddered a little. What kind of ritual? Naruto asked. It is a ritual that binds two together for life, similar to marriage, only it is consummated on the day of the ritual. Not many practice it, mind you, but it is common practice among my people and those who follow the animal way of life, replied Tigra. She gestures to Naruto after responding, after searching I have deemed you worthy of that, Mr. Uzumaki Naruto of Earth. They all exclaimed, what, now wait a minute. You can't just come barging in here unannounced and expect him to accept like that. Nana screamed. Tigra gave her a long look. Tigra looked at Nana and put her right hand to her mouth, chuckling a little, oh my, I didn't realize we allowed minors into this conversation. As Mikan and Hanabi questioned whether they qualified as mature since she said nothing about them, Nana calmly responded, listen you, I am not about to put up with more of your jokes about me. Tigra responded, mocking Nana once more as she emphasized her chest, oh, Come now, Nana, I'm just kidding, but even though you're twins, you still seem to be lacking in certain areas compared to your sister. On Nana's head, a vein pulsed with anger. As I am trying to tell you, he's not available for the ritual, Nana said to her with a somewhat composed demeanor, but it didn't stop Momo from laughing at the comments made about Nana's appearance. Tigra said, don't tell me you planned on taking him as your mate, Nana? Nana's face flushed and she froze in shame at being called out in that way. Tigra continued to laugh at Nana, who eventually lost it. Oh my goodness, they very thought. Ha 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 ha. You don't even have the slightest amount of sex appeal and you thought, oh ha 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 ha, Nana, you really area riot with your flat chest and chicken legs. She yelled, that does it, I'm gonna beat you down, you feline hussy. While Momo and Lala restrained their sister. Let me go. Let me at her, I'm gonna kill that bitch. Tenten said, one thing bothers me here. Despite your obvious development differences, aren't you the same age as her? Tenten inquired, attempting to raise the point that, in terms of Earth law, Tigra would be a little too young to get married. We Interans are half animal, so our aging process is only slightly faster than you Earthans, replied Tigra. Naruto stated that he was not particularly interested in someone who treated others the way she treated Nana, saying, well, anyway, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to decline. The next thing Naruto knew, the wolfman with the alien tech M9 pistol had pinned him to the wall. Oh, I'm sorry, but where in my proposal did say you had a choice? Tigra asked. The princess has chosen you and you are to perform the ritual, he stated. Everyone shouted in their minds, he's being forced to do it. Tenten was about to object when Tigra revealed that she had a remote control with a red button on it. Hey, you can't just. Now let's come to an agreement. I have here the remote that can give the signal to fire on this planet and you can all be space dust. All I ask is that he perform the ritual for me to ascend to my right to the throne. After that he won't have to do any sort of obligation after it's done. All you need to know about the ritual is that it will help me conceive a child. It's a pretty fair deal. He marries me, I give birth to an heir, then he can go back to doing whatever he was doing and the planet is spared, no questions asked. She responded there weren't many options in this rather dire situation. Naruto really started to detest this deal for obvious reasons, but he was forced to accept as she and her bodyguards returned to their ship and set out for space once more. She said, good, we will begin stage 1 of the ritual next week. I will have Boris here. She pointed to the Rhinoman. Return to Earth in 3 days with all that is to transpire for the ritual. Till then you all have a nice day. Naruto muttered, oh man, I am in so much trouble. Now, everyone sat in the living room, unsure of what to do. Momo said, this is really bad. Naruto answered, what other choices do we have? Hinata questioned, isn't there any way to talk her out of this? Unfortunately, even Deviluke can't interfere with something like this. Momo responded, but even still I feel there's more to this situation than she's letting us know. I agree, this whole thing, no matter how you look at it, is too forceful for anyone's taste, Tenten concurred. Naruto had an idea and said, well, let's not forget that we are still ninjas, so let's do what we do best in this situation. If this is successful, they might be able to solve the issue before it gets out of control. After listening in, they all began entering the necessary information. Tigra's return to Earth was planned over the course of the following few days. When the promised day finally arrived, Naruto was waiting for Tigra in the center of Sinan's downtown. Tigra had disguised herself as a human and arrived at Naruto wearing typical Earth clothing. She said to him, I hope you weren't waiting too long. They started to leave as part of what Naruto refers to as Operation Date to save Earth and myself from a spoiled tiger princess, and he grinned and said, no, not at all, I actually just got here. Yes, everyone agreed that it was a dumb name, not that they wanted to give it a name in the first place in an attempt to discover the answers before it was too late. Tenten, Hinata, and Yami all wore cloaks as they boarded Yami's cloaked ship and set out for space on the rooftops.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.